Once upon a time, there lived two neighbors. One of them bought a shotgun. Aha, thought the other. All right, I'll buy myself a bigger gun. What could this mean, thought the first neighbor. I'll buy myself something bigger.
By the end of the 1960s, the Soviet Union seemed likely to match America's nuclear arsenal. The two superpowers faced a choice: slow down their competition, the process that would be called Detente, or continue an arms race that could end in all-out war. In 1969, a new American president came to power. Richard Nixon had new ideas about how to make the Cold War less dangerous. He was ready to accept the Soviet Union as America's nuclear equal.
When President Nixon came into office, the conventional wisdom of all the media and the people who thought of themselves as intellectuals was that he was a warmonger, and that they had to moderate him, and we were under enormous pressure to start negotiations on trade, on salt, on a whole complex of things.
This was not a foreign policy politician, particularly in his early years. He had gained notoriety and power, as you know, on the wave of the Great Red Scare, the great McCarthy period in American politics. He also knew, and this was very important, the bureaucracy. He knew that often the most difficult belligerent powers with which he had to deal were not the Soviet Union or China, but the Department of State, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, those belligerents arrayed along the Potomac.
Soviet leaders wanted arms agreements that recognized their nuclear parity with America. They also wanted American understanding in their quarrel with China. The Communist Party chief, Leonid Brezhnev, championed relaxation of Cold War tension with America, the policy that would be called Detente. He was on his way to the very top of Soviet power.
Brezhnev was a sincere person in many ways. He had been through the great patriotic war from beginning to end. He returned with the very strong conviction that he had to do his best to prevent war. This was illustrated every time he went to a collective farm or factory. He would ask people, "How are things?" And they would complain, but then they would say, "Well, we can put up with it as long as there is no war."
Every leader in any country has the need to express his character and to leave his mark in history. He wanted to become the leader of the Soviet government. One of the ways he had of strengthening his position was making foreign policy his priority.
American-Soviet relations were always at the center of our diplomacy. I would say that basically, whether the West believed it or not, our attitude was to have a more constructive relationship with the United States.